Y'all need to worry about y'all own, yo. That's disrespect. Y'all talking to my wife right? Y'all talking about wife right now.
Okay.
And I'm in the conversation. Yeah, I'm in the conversation.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Blair Book. You know what time it is. Talking to you guys about Married at First Sight. We're dealing with Paige and Chris. I've called this one The Marriage Has Become a Cult, and 10 lessons we need to learn from their particular relationship. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, well, you got the minerals, you got the minerals, you got the minerals. All right, cool. Let's get into the actual video. So this particular episode this season has been mad, but obviously this particular episode is crazy. We saw obviously Chris get into almost a scuffle and a war with Eric. We've seen him confess his undying love for his ex, while simultaneously at the same time, you know, apologizing to the whole group about his behavior. Everything's just an oxymoron at this particular point in time. But I want to talk about their particular relationship and the marriage that these two are in, because there's some really interesting things.
There was an issue with stuff that was said.
And I apologize if you're being disrespectful to me.
I don't give a about you. I made it clear.
I
don't give a
And so my number one point is this. So Chris has cultivated a culture of isolation perfect for separation that leads to abuse. What do I mean by that? When people are looking to manipulate and have a monopoly on a person within the relationship, they seek to detach them from their lifelines and support links, right? And with Chris, he's done that in a way that you may not have seen it and may have just seen him just reacting. It's actually, for me, a very calculated move. For instance, his anger that he uses at points in times, for instance, the ATV situation.
Y'all need to worry about y'all own, yo. That's disrespect. Y'all talking to my wife right? Y'all talking about wife right now.
Okay.
And I'm in the conversation. Yeah. So I'm in the conversation.
Right now, the way he reacted when the girls were talking to Paige, and he came there and was like, why are you talking to my wife, rah rah rah, and and you're showing his anger, and then he venerated at also Eric and Virginia specifically. What he was showing you there was that, listen, don't get too close. Right? So before even that point, they had a conversation at the ATV with Clara and Virginia, right? Now, Virginia was coming on a bit of a mad one anyway. I didn't like her energy. She made some points, but I didn't like her energy, and that's why when he came back with "you're a drunkard," couldn't say nothing. But Clara and Virginia did have some good points to really ask him about what's actually going on, because the situation at hand, they're looking at their friend and saying she's not the same person who she used to be. And so the way that he reacts to them makes them want to separate from Paige and himself. In fact, Paige herself said, obviously, she doesn't want to be that couple where everyone goes, oh, Paige and Chris are coming, they're going to be filled with drama. Because what happens when people think that? They want to separate from you. They run away from you, right? And when that happens, it means your support links are being reduced. It means now your pillars of strength that give you a backbone outside of your relationship are removed.
We'll stay out of it.
Y'all not staying out of it. You're still talking to my wife right now, yo.
They are friends.
They not friends.
Okay.
Calm down, man.
Okay, so when he was saying to Eric, I don't want no one else to be in our relationship. I've been saying about privacy. I want privacy. All of that is an extent of behavior that's leading to separation that leads to abuse, right? You're causing isolation to happen in your relationship in order to make sure that she doesn't have the strength to be able to resist you in future. Now, do I think that all his behaviors are conscious? No, he's a man-child, unfortunately. He's a grown-ass adult with a child's mentality, and you can see that in the ways that he behaves. For instance, when they were talking in the bedroom, and he was explaining about the fact that about his ex, etc., etc., etc. Notice how he doesn't want to look at her face.
Spoke up on a lot of things.
So you're saying that to say what?
So I was waiting for you to, keep it a stack with me and let me know
It's very clear. That is like a child does, right? When a child's in trouble, it won't look you in the eye, right? It will tell you a lie, but it won't look you in the eye. And he did the exact same thing. Instead of turning to her and saying, hey, look, this is the situation at hand, he gets her face in the opposite direction, making sure he's not looking directly in her eye. And in fact, a lot of times, he doesn't want to look her in the eye. All right, and I think that speaks volumes to the mentality that he carries throughout the season as well. Not only that, I mean, he did it again, the anger situation when they were on the bus, right? You know, he said he premeditated. He said, they've been giving me hell all week. I'm going to make sure that on the bus ride, it's not going to be easy. What does that do to the mindset when you do that?
About your marriage to strangers. They have been disrespectful all week. So I am going to make life a living hell on this freaking bus.
It instantly puts people on a back foot, okay, to know now I don't want to get involved with Paige and Chris, because when I do, the dragon's going to be awakened. And look at the kind of reaction I get from Chris. It's not worth it. Now people don't want to get close. People don't want to say anything about your relationship. People tread on, like, you know, eggshells around you, because they now feel like they can't talk about your relationship without there being, repercussions. Very, very important to understand that as well.
I am very uncomfortable with how today went. I understand that Eric was trying to be a husband and stand up for his wife, but I didn't sign up to be put into other.
And so this is also, like I said, it removes the power structures, the defense, and the reality checkers. You see, when you remove friends, when you stop people from getting close to your relationship, when you start allowing people to have some level of insight or transparency, what you're also going to be doing is cutting off the reality checkers. The reality checkers are friends who tell you, hey, here's the reality of the situation. This is good, this is bad, this is okay, this is not okay, right?
We came like mad, like aggressive.
It was just like super.
Like you came trying to apologize. So, yeah. No way. Eric came on to Chris.
When you cut off all those people around you, when you stop Clara, when you stop Virginia, when you stop Bree, well, we haven't stopped Bree yet, but when you stop those people around you, and then you only keep yes men, because remember, the Vincent, no beef with him, but I gotta keep it true. He was also condoning his behavior with Eric. Like, bro, how are you condoning that behavior, right? So of course he wants to keep Vincent around, and obviously Bree knows her place in terms of how she delivers information. I'm not gonna counteract you. I'm not going to stop you from doing what you're supposed to do, and I can only almost underhandedly tell you what to do and tell you what kind of my advice is. So therefore, she's not a threat, right? Because she's not overt. But Clara and Virginia are overt with their particular disagreements with them, right? And so what's happening here is that he's cancelling those who are reality checkers, those who will say, hey, here's the reality of the situation. Because even towards the end, Bree was here backing Paige and backing the fact that, oh, Chris was apologizing, No, but listen, it doesn't matter whether he's apologized or not. He was about to start a whole fight over somebody saying, I don't want to have a conversation anymore.
I don't understand where Eric or Virginia is coming from, to be honest.
Like, we were having a great night, and then it's just like,
Here it is blowing up.
here it is, blowing out of proportion when you didn't even give him a chance to, like.
Whilst I also agree that Eric decided to exit the conversation just as he was explaining was rude and disrespectful in that regard, it wasn't a cause enough for you to stand up and wanting to fight a brother. Right, but that's all of that is intentional. Like I said, to keep people at bay. Okay, and so you watch the way that he came at Virginia specifically as well. When they were talking to Paige, he came at her so hard, and Eric didn't catch on that. If he didn't step in at that moment, you now coming to the dinner table to say, "Hey, don't ever speak to my wife like that," means nothing. You have to step that way at the moment. Don't do it after. If you do it after, the person's like, wait, the thing's already gone. Like, brother, if you couldn't do it to me in a moment, what makes you think I'm going to listen to you now after? He's also created a culture of defend me and show me loyalty. And how do I mean by that? I've noticed already that Paige is already starting to defend all his bad behaviors. Like for instance, the dinner table situation, right? Yes, he's apologized, but the best apology is a change of behavior. How is it that you've apologized and you're still about to go?
He definitely said he wished he would have handled that situation a lot differently. But him even being honest in a space to say, hey, I have not been a man of God.
into war with another fellow couple, right? You're about to start warring Eric because he's walking away. Why? You said you've apologized. Then show me that in mentality. Show me that in the mentality. Show me that you've changed your ways through what actions you take. I don't think we saw that from Chris. In all honesty, I don't think we saw that from Chris. So when you're defending this behavior about, oh, you know, he did apologize and, you know, I don't know why Eric... No, darling, look at your man. That's why now later on, when he says he loves his ex, you're saying it's like a slap in the face. Why? Because you defended him in front of all those people, apologizing on his behalf and your behalf, okay? And he don't give a two hoots about, you understand? So, you know, you start defending and becoming loyal to his behaviors. Here's another thing that happened as well. And maybe I'll mention it a bit later as well. When obviously when he was at the ATV and he was talking to Virginia and Eric, and this is where it really broke my heart, because I've seen this. This is the typical manipulation working its goodness, or sorry, its badness. He said to Eric and Thingy, like, I told you, stay out of my business, Alright, Paige, are you ready to go? Or you want to, are you Paige, are you going to talk to these people, or are you ready to go with me? And as soon as she said...
You want to continue to talk to him, or you want to come?
Let's go. Let's just chill.
Yeah, because I'm going to explode on somebody.
I'm going to go with you. That was a choice of loyalty. Now, I'm not saying that you have to disrespect your partner in public, no. But what I am saying is, in that moment, sis, you weren't safe. And you going with him further acknowledged the fact that you okay his behavior. Right? And I'm not saying that she didn't check him after, because she obviously clearly did. But my whole point is this: your friends were getting attacked in the moment. Or I should say, rather than attacked, Clara and Virginia were getting attacked. And maybe this is another point as well. Maybe Virginia and Clara are really not Paige's friends the way she sees it. That's why she never said nothing, right? Because I don't see how you can allow your friends in that moment to get cussed out the way they get cussed out. You understand? When man's coming at them at 120 miles per hour, I don't see how you can sit there and be quiet about it, right? I know that abuse happens. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I don't think you would have had that same reaction for Brie. So the fact that she was so quiet, but you can see the tears in her eyes, and he's asked you, are you coming along with me? Or you're going to end up talking to these people. And it's almost as if, like, if you talk to these people, the anger that will come will be mad. So you don't want to exasperate the situation anymore. You don't want to make his anger anymore. You want to try and appease him and soothe him. The trouble with that is that people are not soothed. People are not appeased. You understand? He's going to keep on doing this and dragging you into this mess all the time. And you will always be making a choice of defending his bad behavior and loyalty to him. Always. And the way she was defending him in front of Brie was also another thing. It's like, bro, he was wrong that night. You got to accept that. Okay? And so there's a created culture of, you alone have the power to influence me. It's another thing that leads to abusive relationships. Oh, you alone have the personal agency to calm me down. It's you that calms me down. It's you that makes me see sense. It's you that is the trigger that makes me think differently. No, that's not the truth. To be honest with you. It's one of those things that leads into abuse, because the person who's an enabler believes that they have agency to change your behavior.
She prayed, like, laid her hands on my head and just said a prayer for me. And, like, it calmed me down, like, completely. And it cracked open a door emotionally.
And therefore, what's going to happen next is I'm going to blame you when I don't calm down in future. Well, you know what you meant to do when you meant to make me calm down. Why didn't you do it? So now we've got a situation where he said this word, my grandma, my great-grandma, have been praying over me for 27 years. Sir, at what point will you be praying for yourself? At what point will you be having your relationship with God yourself, that you will be praying for yourself? At what point will you be exercising the fruits of the Spirit in order to calm this anger down? At what point is the Holy Spirit not speaking to you about the way you're behaving as a man of God? Right? And so your grandma praying over you, your great-grandma praying over you for the last 27 years, and now she's doing that same job. Look what he's actually saying. He's setting up a pattern of parenthood. He's setting up a pattern of you becoming a mother to him, which speaks to his childlike behavior. Because the only reason why he wants a mother is because he's a son. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's a child. You know what I'm saying? Like in a grown man's body. So Paige is about to now overtake those women and become the woman that speaks a covering over her husband. Listen, let me tell you the truth. Nobody covers you but Jesus. No one should cover you but Jesus. You understand? And so now, you know, he said about, obviously, you know, she calmed down when she read scripture over me.
To do something that I've been used to for 27 years, my grandmother and great-grandmother doing. And I owe her this, and I just...
If that's what it takes to make you calm down, sir, I don't know if that's really I don't know if that's what we really want to roll with, because at the end of the day, what is setting her up to do again is about personal agency, making her think she has a level of control over you. So making her feel special, like, hey guys, don't say anything. I know what I'm doing. I've got this. I'm the only one that knows how to soothe the bear. You don't. You're not Betty to Hulk, okay? This is not a comic book. He will behave as he wants to behave. You thinking you're special, that you can calm him down, is going to cause you future troubles. It's going to cause you trouble in the future. It doesn't work. It's only setting you up for becoming an abused individual. My point number 5 is this. The culture of I'm a good kid, but I'm having a bad day. He's not a good kid having a bad day. And that makes it seem as if it's a one-off or it's a very rare thing. But this is a consistent level of behavior. The apologies that he offered to the group, whilst I appreciate it, I want to see a change of behavior. It didn't take 2 minutes for Eric and Virginia to walk in for you to stand up and want to fight them. That tells me that you have not fully actually learned from the actual experience. That tells me I don't think you're really that sorry. You're more sorry about the fact that your image is under duress. You're sorry that your image is under attack. You're sorry that your image at the moment is no longer reputable. But as concerning it to being how sorry you are towards the group, you ain't sorry towards the group. You know, if it had been when Eric and Virginia got there, you would have also apologized to them and said, hey, look, before anything kicks off, I want to apologize to you. But you don't really mean apologies. Really. Right? You don't really mean apologies, do you? All right? You should, like, you waited for Eric to start talking, and when he started talking smack, obviously when you then returned fire, and I'm not gonna say like it's only Chris's fault, because when Eric decided to walk away, that was rude and impulsive and disrespectful. But we need to see the fact that this is not a bad day. You've done this several times over and over again. The last group setting, you went around into the corner and sat down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've walked away in your marriage in the sense of the fact that you went for a 2-hour walk to get a phone call. I don't know. Well, we didn't say what it was. You said obviously you had a panic attack. I don't agree. I don't believe that. I think you went to have a call. So now you're starting to exhibit behaviors that are not good, guys. Or a good kid having a bad day. These are bad kids having consistently bad days. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Paige has indoctrinated herself into silence. Sis, Clara said it herself. You're not yourself at the moment. You're not as bubbly. You're not as excitable. You're not as energetic as I once saw you. Virginia also said it by the ATV. We've noticed her behavior has changed. Now, Paige is being indoctrinated into silence. What do I mean by that? When you watch the episode, the scene where they're in the bedroom and they're talking about his ex, before they start that conversation, she said something. She said, I've been holding my mouth, I've been holding my tongue for a little while. I haven't been saying what I feel like I wanted to say.
Still have not spoke up on a lot of things.
So you're saying that to say what?
That tells me you've been holding back for a little while now. He's buying your silence with you trying to understand him better. And I get it. We want to understand each other in relationships, but not to a detriment of yourself. Not to the detriment of yourself. And so, another thing was that when Paige was sitting down, and like I said, the argument that happened where Chris showed some aggression towards Virginia, Eric, and Clara, who were talking to Paige, the way he territorially stepped into that scenario, Paige didn't say anything. He's buying her silence. Again, Paige at the dinner table when everything's kicking off, buying her silence. She's not trying to stir the pot. So now her silence is becoming a weapon. It's being used against her, you know? And so Paige has also been indoctrinated into minimalizing behavior, and thrown herself into a whirlwind. Okay, like you throw yourself into a space where you're defending the person who's leading you at all costs. Irrespective of how you feel about it, irrespective of what you think, you're going to defend him. That's cult-like. That you don't consider and weigh up, hold on a minute, some of the things that are going on are a bit mad.
It's in a space to say, hey, I have not been a man of God. That's bold, that's honest, that's real, that's raw, and that's what I've been needing. Like, hey, like, have some accountability for the things that
you know, you're willing to even accept scraps at the moment, you know, by minimalizing his behavior. When you're talking to Bree and you're explaining about his behavior, you minimalized it, you know, you minimalized it. And so you're not being at your truest self because you're trying to make it work, trying to get this love to work. And I appreciate that.
This is a taking it as picture of him and his perception, and like, I understand why he's being defensive.
Yeah. It's nobody's business.
Yeah.
You know, she's not being her true self, and she's minimalizing some of his behaviors, you know, as in, you know, saying, oh, you know, some people have got strong personalities. There's been some certain decisions that have been taken. Sis, no, it's not strong personalities. He's been out here being aggressive to other contestants or other couples here. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that the other men in the other couples weren't able to say something to him or stand up to his behavior, because it was nonsense. Right? They let their own women into a point where he's being aggressive and not trying to discuss and not trying to protect their women there. I thought it was rubbish. I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought it was rubbish. I thought it was absolutely rubbish. These other men didn't stand in front of their girls. You know, Eric took a little while. He came in there and eventually did, but he was shooketh. He was shook. Man was shooketh. You know what I'm saying? Like Paige minimalized his behavior, and yet it got to a point where Brie even said herself, I mean, Chris was about to basically do Eric in. Well, if Chris was about to do Eric in, that should let you know that the behaviors can't be minimalized. It's not strong personalities at this point. It's bad behavior.
The damage is done, and Chris was ready to air that bitch out. So I don't
call it what it is. Okay, and then he's indoctrinated her into accepting scraps. You know, at the point where, you know, the last episode where they were sitting in front talking about him putting her as number one priority, and then saying a little bar here and there, making her smile because he complimented her, and then she also said, "Oh, you know, I would never sleep with someone unless they know my middle name," and getting excited about that. Minimalistic scraps. And then in this episode, we're seeing the fact that when he said, obviously, I'm spiritually attracted to you, and now I'm beginning to be attracted to you, you start smiling. Scraps. After he's just told you that he loves
getting back together. Because I'm still over.
Some people don't value their life. You're telling me that you're getting excited about the fact that he said he's spiritually and physically attracted to you now, after he's told you he loves his ex. Listen, everything after you love your ex is out the window for me. Whether you find me attractive or not, I don't give a damn. You just told me you love your ex, yeah? She smiled as well when he was making his speech about his sorries and everything like that on the table. Speaking about, obviously, basically, you know what? He basically did a John Gray, you know, basically saying that my woman is my covering. That's basically what he just did. No, that's basically what he did. In fact, we'll do a whole video on that. The lady being my covering. The lady's not your covering.
It cracked open a door emotionally, you know what I'm saying, to her, to know that she had the power to do something that I've been used to for 27 years, my grandmother and
No, you know what I'm saying? Like, your covering is Christ. There is no such thing as husband covering either. Your husband is your husband. Yes, he is a leader in your relationship, but he's not your covering. The only covering is Christ, Lord Jesus. Okay, and so she's been indoctrinated into the scraps, and indoctrinated into, you know, accepting minimal things out here, bruv. What? Because my man said that you're attractive, you're gonna get excited and gassed. Come on, love. Come on, we're not 18 here. Okay. And then my last point is this: Paige has indoctrinated into staying true to vows due to her perception of God. Now, listen, I don't get it twisted. We've said vows, and therefore vows need to be honored. But when there's abuse that's taking place, I truly believe that God does not want that person to be abused. Okay. Now, in terms of the decision about about marriage, even, you need to understand is that whatever you don't break yourself, whatever you don't defeat and beat yourself, more than likely your kids will go, because they've never seen you conquer it, so they will end up facing it themselves. So again, I think, you know, for my fear here, I want her to say, hey, do you know what? I'm worth more than this. I am worth more than this. I can be more than this. There's no way I'm going to allow a man to trample me to this point where I'm being indoctrinated to accept minimalistic standards and accept, him telling me that he loves another girl. Like, what? Bruv, a whole ex he said he loves. We'll do a whole video on that. Don't get it twisted. But I'm hurt for her, man. This, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. It's brazy. My girl's been indoctrinated into the culture of Chris, the cult Chris. Anyway, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Let me know that. If anybody's watching this, this is important for you. Watch this, understand it, deep it. Okay? Watch it, understand it, deep it, and know that, hey, okay, hey, this, my life, I don't want it to be in the same way. So I'm going to make sure I make quality decisions. You understand? Guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you. Stay locked and stay loaded.